All right, how's everyone doing? I'm Rich CELENZA. Thanks for tuning in to the Rich CELENZA Show. WTF are you talking about? So, what I want to get into today is something I'm going to call is why is it so hard for some of us to be comfortable in our own skin? So, if you know anything about my podcasts, I talk about a lot of wacky stuff. And one is body image and how we kind of perceive ourselves sometimes, good or bad. I've had my own issues over my entire life. I call it reverse anorexiism, where no matter, you know, it's body dysmorphia. Is that what they call it? Where no matter what, you look in the mirror, no matter what you see. In my case, I just saw a puny little kid, no matter how big I got. And obviously, with anorexiism or anorexia, people look at themselves, no matter how thin they get, they're never thin enough. So when I kind of was with somebody not long ago, I don't want to say who it is on the podcast, but we were shopping for clothes and they found some clothes they wanted. And I said, hey, just try them on. And they says, no, I don't want to go in there. I don't like to see myself. And I was like, what are you talking about? You got to try the clothes on. And they're like, no, no, no. If they don't fit, I just bring them back. I'm like, who the hell's got time for that? You try. I mean, literally, we're standing next to a dressing room. And they're like, no, I just don't like to see myself in the mirror or in the light like that. There's too many mirrors in there or whatever. I'm like, okay. But I started to think about this. And I've thought about this for, a long period throughout my life. And I don't know how this came to be with a lot of us, with our image or the issues we have with our bodies. And I don't know if it was, I can't say my mother and father have incredible genetics, and I don't hear them complain about that. My father does not have the issue of having to be huge or lift weights or having to be strong. He's more artistic, so his strengths are more like he likes gardening. He can build cars, motorcycles, things in that nature. My mother is kind of a clean freak, I would say, so her issues would be everything has to be spotless, and then she wants everything to be religious. But not body image issues, not being my father's kind of obsessed with, obviously, his clothes and his cars and flamboyant, more than my mother. But regardless, it's not that physical, if that makes sense. I mean, of course, they both want to look good in clothes and they both look great at their age, but it wouldn't be like what I kind of went through. And my daughters, I think, truthfully, have issues as well with their bodies, even though they're both very thin and very beautiful. Most women, at least their age, would love to look like them, I would think. That's all I hear. But they have problems all over the place, which is kind of funny. I don't know where they got that from, and I sometimes wonder, was it me? And it wasn't me ever telling them they're too thin, they're too fat. I never said a word to them about that. I was whatever they were. I loved it either way. I don't care what they became. And maybe you have this problem too, and it kind of hits me too. I don't know if we're being programmed by society or we're allowing it, or if there's something in our brains making us feel like our body is a piece of shit. And I'm always preaching that you only got one body, you better take care of it. And I still, recently, I got kind of thin. We went to Hawaii. I wasn't necessarily thin then, but I dropped down. Like, my weight fluctuates a lot of times. For years, it really fluctuated between like 210 and 250, 247-ish. I'd be 230 for a long periods of time, many, many years, even decades. I was a lot bigger. And then as I got older, I said, I want to get thinner and thinner. And I got down to one time like 180, and my whole face got sucked in. I felt horrible and very weak. So basically, I've been holding 200 now for the last decade. And I feel very good, very strong. And then I gained some weight. I've been eating in a lot of Italian restaurants again. I thought I quit doing this, but I jumped right back on it. And I'm actually in Vegas, and I just went to eat at Italy again. But I gained some weight back. I gained another 10 pounds. So what was interesting is normally carrying this weight around bogs me down, especially like when I'm trying to do cardio and certain things. I could just feel the weight. But I'll tell you, I was looking in the mirror and my traps were kind of coming back, and I could tell my back was getting bigger, even my arms, my chest. My clothes were all tight again, and I thought I was done with wanting to, I thought I was done with the nonsense. Like, this is my body, accept it, it's great, you're in great shape for your your age, you're doing really well, you're not injured anymore, you're not pushing extremely heavy weight. Actually, the lighter the weight I've been going, the better results I've been getting. But I could tell when I started gaining that weight too, my strength started coming along again, man. But I could tell my joints were hurting a little bit, but I could just tell the thickness again. Even when I'm shooting my videos, I do these YouTube videos on fitness, so if I'm wearing certain shirts, I'm like, whoa, you could just, I look 20 pounds bigger and heavier in my neck. And I like it. And I'm thinking, let me go back to 220 again, like a lunatic. But I know at my age that is not healthy. And what's interesting, cardio-wise, I just start to feel like shit going upstairs. And I could still do cardio in the gym with no problem. I could still swim my laps in a pool. But, my God, I can't get rid of this shit. So it's very similar, I think, where people, once they they get it in their minds that their body's shit, or they don't look the way they want to look, or they're just not comfortable in their own skin. I think it's almost, I'm not going to say it's impossible to kind of get rid of that, but it is so hard because I've seen so many people over the years, besides myself, who get into great shape and never are satisfied. But I guess that's what pushes a lot of people who love health or love bodybuilding. Even if you like jiu-jitsu or you like whatever you like and you keep carrying it on throughout high school, throughout college, into your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, is you're never satisfied, I think, to a certain degree. And I think there's good things to that, because if you're never satisfied, you're kind of always trying to keep up and you're working at being better. And then there's other times where I think people become over the top and obsessed with it, I've done videos on that on my podcast and YouTube, where they kind of lose themselves. They become too much, I think, where you take something healthy and you make it unhealthy. And that could be even bodybuilders that go to the extreme of using steroids, getting massive, having all these health conditions, even people that run marathons or, those type of things you run, get very gaunt, I guess, very sickly, and start to have issues just as much. Or people that lose weight, right? They lose too much weight too fast, or they get too thin. But yeah, if you get a chance, you might check out some of my YouTube channel, because I've been doing a lot of different things on talking about fitness, not just videos on fitness, more or less kind of explaining people having a lot of potential. They just never discover it when it comes to physical, it's not even always getting in shape or always being built, but just by building some strength where it becomes, I should say, I haven't posted it, but I did a video on people, just by getting a little stronger, right, can go such a long way in life. Not only does it help you feel stronger, I think it also clicks something in your mind to start thinking mentally that you're stronger. But sometimes just small increments when it comes to having issues with your body, small changes. But no one is going to be perfect. I've discussed this before, where someone's always going to be bigger than you. Someone's always going to be stronger than you. Someone's always going to be thinner than you. Someone's going to always be prettier than you. Someone's going to be in better shape than you. All these type of things. And if you're comparing yourself constantly to other people where it's hurting you, making you feel like you're a piece of shit, I think we need to stop that. And I know you're not, because I don't either. But if you could just kind of get a handle on it, nothing wrong with looking up to, the people you love to look up to. When I was younger, I liked like Sergio Olivier, bodybuilder from Chicago. And then there was Arnold, but I kind of liked Franco because he was Italian. Lou Ferrigno was Italian too. Whatever, I kind of gravitated a little bit towards those guys. And then as time went on, I got to meet bodybuilders, and I liked bodybuilding, and I liked heavy weightlifting, but I also liked like Bruce Lee, like a lot of people. I just like that. And there's nothing wrong with looking up to them, I think, to help you. But I think when you start comparing yourself a lot of times to these people that, I'm not saying they're unrealistic, those people exist, but a lot of times what you think they are, or, they're not always that, if that makes sense. You don't see the other side of it, like a lot of guys, for instance, I'll just use bodybuilding, what they're going through physically by using a lot of steroids, growth hormone, different supplements, what they're doing to their bodies long term. So you think they're amazing shape when the reality is they're damaging their body again. And this can be any pro athlete or anybody you may look up to. It could be basketball, it could be football, it could be whatever the case may be. You may look at them and put them on a pedestal when the truth is a lot of things they're doing to their body you wouldn't do, because you actually, one is they're doing it for a living, so they're getting paid to do that. And the other thing is you may actually value your body a lot more than they can, or they do to a certain degree, which again, I'm not dismissing that, but a lot of athletes sometimes do things to their body which can hurt them, which you may not be willing to do, is what I should say. And again, that's not to dig on any athlete in the world. I think what all athletes do, especially professional sports, is absolutely amazing. But my point being is getting caught up with what a lot of other people look like or are doing. You don't know what they're doing to get to that point, if that makes sense. So it's hard to compare to that person, okay? Also, genetics come into play and all these different types of things. So, yeah, I just want to do a kind of a quick podcast on that. If you are having those issues, try to really, I want to do a podcast where, take it all in. When you go to a mirror, take it all in who you are and all your strengths are. You'd be shocked at all the gifts you've been given. I did a video not long ago on that. I don't think I've ever said it on a podcast. If I did, I forgot, because I've done so many. But there is a famous comic book strip I seen once, and it's a dude in a Lamborghini or a Ferrari, and a dude pulls up in a Corvette, and the guy in the Corvette looks at the Lamborghini and says, "Man, I wish I had the Lamborghini or Ferrari." Then a guy pulls up in a Ford Mustang looking at the Corvette and says, "Hey, I wish I had the Corvette." Then a guy pulls up in a was it a regular car? Maybe just a standard car, and says, "I wish I had the Mustang." And then a guy pulls up in a motorcycle and looks at the regular car and says, "I wish I had a car." Then a guy in a bicycle pulls up and looks at the motorcycle and says, "Man, I wish I had a motorcycle." Then a guy comes running by jogging and says, "Man, I wish I had a bicycle." Then there's a guy walking. He sees the guy running, and he's like, "I wish I could run." And then it shoots to a little boy or girl in a wheelchair on a stoop, and it said, "I wish I could walk." I don't think people realize, they have been given a lot of strengths, and your body is a temple, and you should definitely take care of it. But if you keep looking at all the flaws when you're taking it all in, what are you doing to your mind? You were given this body. You can't escape it. Try to do the best you can, within it. And you're the only person in the world that can do that. Nobody else can shape your body. No one can get you in better shape or make you lose weight, make you gain muscle, make you do whatever you want to do. It is all on you. So, like I was just saying, take it all in, and whatever you want to do in your life physically, just learn that it takes a substantial amount of time. It doesn't take months. You know what I mean? It takes years to get sometimes where you want to be. It's hard to morph your body, or it's hard to master a skill. When you see athletes, or whatever you see some of these people, they've been doing it for decades, okay? So, but don't think you have to give up on yourself. So if you're really obese, hypothetically, or if you're 30, 40, 50 pounds overweight, you can't say, "You know what, in a half a year, I want to be, I want to lose 30, 40 pounds. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but the slower you lose that weight and the more realistic you are, but just set something in motion and realize it may take a lot longer than you ever thought. But just start the journey, man. I'm telling you, just start it, and you're going to start evolving. And everything starts with very small increments with getting in shape. I'm telling you, to lose weight, just losing a pound even a week, gaining muscle, 5 pounds a year, gaining whatever it is, just take your time. And while you're working out and doing all these different things, you're going to be experimenting. Your body's changing, your mind is changing, and just respect your body. I'm telling you, you have to respect it. And I can assure you everybody else will respect it as well. If you destroy your body, that's kind of on you. And I just saw a video on, I felt so bad. I don't even want to say his name, but it was a famous actor in the 80s. And he's roughly my age, and it looks like he's had a lot of problems with alcohol and drugs, and he was one of the most famous great looking dudes. He got like busted in an airport. They were making him do the breathalyzer. And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe, you know, and he was in great shape always. You can beat your body up, you know, or there's two options, I think, sometimes in life. Of course, there's the middle ground. There's nothing wrong with that, where you don't smoke, drink, you don't work out, and you just kind of live your life like a lot of dudes. That's wonderful, right? But I think a lot of times people are extremists. They either go super healthy, or they want to be healthy, and they work out a lot, which is great. Or then they just go to the other side, which is just, I don't know why, but beating the shit out of their body and kind of destroying it again with drugs, alcohol, stress, food, all these things. If you're doing that, you just might not want to do that. Now, it's your choice to do that, but maybe, you know, if you want to change and get healthier, again, you don't have to become a health nut. I talk about that all the time. People think for them to lose weight, they have to go on all these diets, or they have to become incredibly in shape and they have to work out for forever, 5 days a week. That's all bullshit. You have to find what works for you, but start something. If you really want to help yourself, you have to start taking those steps. And it's not easy. And here's the thing too, this is the last thing I'm going to wrap up with. Don't think you have to quit all these things to start working out or start doing something physical. I know tons of dudes that smoke, drink, are heavy, party, let's just say, and I'm doing a video on this on my YouTube coming up as well. Don't wait don't think you have to quit all these things, then I'll start working out. That's bullshit. Go start working out tomorrow and work through the other shit. It's the flip of what most people think, because a lot of people think, you know what, I'm not going to be able to work out unless I quit smoking. I'm not going to be able to work out unless, you know, I only drink this much per month. I got to lose this much weight, then I'm going to join a gym. I'm embarrassed to go to a gym, or whatever the case may be. No. I'm telling you, if you do start working out, that may help trigger something that's going to help you kind of get some momentum to say, hey, I feel better working out. Maybe I shouldn't drink as much. Hey, I'm working out. I am burning calories, and I'm starting to feel better, and I'm starting to see results. Let me back up a little bit on all this food. Whatever the case may be, you're getting that going. And that's a huge step. But most people want to come up with every excuse in the world why they can't work out, because the reality is they don't want to work out, which is fine too. But if you really do want to lose weight, right, and you do want to get in better shape and you want to have a longer, healthier life, you're going to have to, you know, start making some changes. And I'm telling you right now that I'm 50, as you get older, it's easy to live as you get older in shape. It's hard to live out of shape as you get older, if that makes sense. I hope I said that correctly, but I think you get my point. Because the older you get, the healthier you are, the better I can assure you you're going to feel. If you're younger or whatever middle age and you feel like shit now, you're going to feel like a huge piece of shit as time goes on. Okay? And again, don't think you got to kill yourself. Even if you start walking a couple miles extra a day, maybe swim a little bit, whatever the case may be, go play hoops with your friends. You don't have to kill yourself. Whatever the case may be, go hang out with your kids, do sports, whatever. Try to do something physical at least a few times, a week. Try to get that blood flow going, get that heartbeat up a little bit, and just get some, really get your joints and everything moving. All right, I'm going to wrap it up there. If you get a chance, check out my YouTube channels. I'm telling you, I got a lot of pretty cool stuff if you like anything that I say. If you don't, you probably won't like it, but I've been doing a lot of things regarding trying to help guys with fitness more than ever lately, because that's some of the things I get asked the most, especially at my age. So I kind of go with the flow of my podcast and everything, what people kind of want to talk about to me. And basically it's Italian food and restaurants and fitness lately. Sometimes it used to be about clothes and everything, and fashion and things in that nature, and movies. And then I wrote a couple books and all that stuff. But now lately it's been more, I think because I have YouTube videos and I was doing gym tours. And so that kind of started a different type of interest, if that makes sense, for men and women. Before I was kind of more geared only towards men, I guess you could say. So I'm also on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and you can find all my stuff on richcelenza.com. Please leave a comment, call me an asshole, disagree with me, agree with me. That's all I got for you. If you're traveling, safe travels.